Adam's weekly pocket money is $80. On average, 20% goes to books and stationery. He spends 3 times as much on food as he does on transport. The money he saves is $6 less than his expenditure on food. How many percent of his pocket money goes to savings? So we know that the total is going to be equal to $80. We know that he spends 20% on books and stationery, so we can work that out. We can find out that books and stationery is going to represent 20% of £80, $80. So 20%, which is the equivalent of 2/10, times it by 80. Now I didn't simplify that fraction because it's going to make it easier to simplify here. And 2 times 8 gives me $16. Now, if he spent $16 on books, he's going to have 80 minus $16 remaining to spend on the rest of the things, which gives us $64. Now, where does he spend the rest of the money? On food, on transport, and on savings. Now I can see that it's comparing the amount of money he spends on food to transport, and then it compares the amount of money he saves to food. So therefore, I'm going to use transport, as that seems like my smallest thing, to represent one part. Now, of course, I could use algebra as well to represent the different parts, but let's write out the information we know. So 3 times as much on food as he does on transport. So if we use transport as our base, I'm going to use a line segment to represent the amount of money he spent here. You may use X as well if you prefer algebra. So we can describe the amount of money he spent on food using 3 line segments. We don't know what these line segments represent, but we do know that he spends 3 times as much money on food as transport. And then finally, he saves $6 less than his expenditure on food. So for savings, he would spend 3 line segments, but actually it's $6 less. So I'm going to draw 3, but the third one is going to be cut short by 6. So I've drawn a little squiggly line to represent that this is not quite 3 line segments. Now I know that the total of these 3 things adds up to $64 because that's what we worked out the remaining money. So adding up the 3 different things, we've got transport, food, and we've got savings. Now, adding up the line segments, I can see I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts, except that last part is 6 short. So that tells me that 7 of those parts minus 6 for that last one is going to be equal to the $64 that he's got remaining. Therefore, 7 line segments must be equal to 70 by rearranging, and 1 line segment, which represents 1 part, or in other words, the money he spends on transport, must be equal to $10. So that actually tells us that we've got $10 spent on transport, 30 spent on food, and 3 lots of 10 minus 6, which gives us an extra 4 on savings. So savings is going to be equal to 3 times 10 minus 6, which is $24. And the final step of this question is to find the percentage, because it asks how many percent of his pocket money goes to savings. So we need to express $24 as a percentage out of his total money that he earns in the week. So that's going to be 24 over $80. And by simplifying and dividing both sides by 8, we get 3/10 or 30%.